This is one of the most famous paintings in Hawaiian history, the Battle of Nu'uanu. It has one side with muskets, the other side with sticks. So how did we get to this point? Back in ancient Hawaii, there were a lot of laws that aren't very obvious today. Like, when you see an ali'i, a chief of the island or region or something, they have a lot of mana. They used to believe that people carried their mana around with them through their shadows. So if you step into the shadow of a ali'i, then you're stealing their mana. And that is punishable by death.
Dude, come on.
Unless you make it to the same.
So Howleys pretty much ignored all these rules, and the Hawaiians were kind of okay with it because, like, they're new people, they're like gods, they have guns. Like, we're okay with this. But then one ship came, and they didn't respect women. And
Wait. You're telling me a ship full of men came to an island and didn't respect the women?
I know, who would have guessed,
Wait,
right?
what?
So we killed them. As all great plans go, we didn't succeed all the way. One guy we let live, he was named Isaac Davis, and the guy that came searching for him afterwards, named John Young, became an advisor to Kamehameha because he knew how to use the guns and Kamehameha didn't. He went on to become the ali'i nui, ruler of all the Hawaiian Islands. So now trade flourished because they all had one guy to go to, Kamehameha I, to start trade deals with.
Wait, did they actually trade with China?
Yeah.
Sandalwood.
Well, not directly, but through European merchants that really ripped them off. The Pacific Ocean's huge. You need to refuel eventually. So Hawaii was just one of the places to do that, and they just so happened to do a lot of trading alongside that to make a few extra bucks. Kamehameha I started the sandalwood industry, and he pocketed 25% of the profits. So pretty much anyone could harvest sandalwood, and they went to the chiefs, who went through Kamehameha, who sold it to the merchants that went to Canton and sold it to the Chinese. So he tried to encourage the sandalwood business to grow. But this went even further under the reigns of Kamehameha II and III, who began to start taxing his citizens. Every man is required to deliver 60 pounds of sandalwood, and every woman is required to provide a 12-foot long and 6-foot wide tapa, or $1 Spanish. Now, sewing a tapa that is 3 times your height is pretty hard, so a lot of women did not sew that tapa. They resorted to a method of getting some quick money from some foreigners called prostitution, Hawaii's next major industry. So we were all picking some sandalwood because the Howleys wanted it. Then we ran out of sandalwood. The Hawaiian people did not like being sandalwood slaves, but the king got rich, so I guess it could have been worse. Basically, Lili'uokalani, Kamehameha II, rolled up, and he was a sick fuck, so he kind of stopped regulating the sandalwood market. Because of this, the resources were quickly depleted, so he shit the bed, I guess. It happens. When you want to get a lot of sandalwood, well, you burn the forest, because the sandalwood creates a very, very strong aroma. Though, when you burn the forests, you get rid of all the new blossoming sandalwood, and you deplete the sandalwood population for the next 50 years or so. So that's nice.
How does burning the forest help you get sandalwood?
Because you smell the burning sandalwood, it's very aromatic.
Okay. So you know where to go?
Yeah. Through the burning forest that you just created.
Wow.
Great idea.
Desperate times.
So they stopped regulating the sandalwood market.
Yep.
So how the hell did that happen?
There used to be a kapu, the sacred laws, on destroying young sandalwood trees. The second Kamehameha was kind of a puppet to his mom.
Not his mom.
Really?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, Kamehameha the first had
many wives.
lots of
many wives.
Yeah.
On Wikipedia, it lists his spouse as several, while Kamehameha II has 6. So if 6 isn't several, I don't know what several means.
His regent, Kaahumanu, was like suckered into converting to Christianity on the part of the missionaries. And so she basically like abolished the kapu system, and in doing so like abolished the native religion.
It was cemented during Kamehameha IV's reign, and dramatically, the queen actually read the Bible by a volcano, which was sacrilegious. She might have eaten something kapu, like a banana. I don't know. But kapu is forbidden. So it's basically like the entire system of Hawaiian religious, social, no. Like it's
you
very.
You can't read the Bible by a volcano while you're eating a banana.
The Bible part. The Bible part was the sacrilege because it's like a different religion, right? And also, women weren't supposed to eat bananas. They were very strict gender things.
I've seen like the driving thing. I've seen the one like big clothes. I've seen the one like voting, but bananas.
Like the kapu system had a very strong thread of gender segregation in many ways. Like Kakumanu in Kamehameha II's time abolished kapu. And then over time,
meaning you abolish all those other crazy rules.
Yeah, so that was the basic, like, I guess not exactly tenets, but there were huge rules in the religious social part of Hawaii, right? And it became more Christian over time, mostly due to the influence of missionaries, primarily Anglican, because those were the most prominent ones.
And then the whalers came. So you may have heard the story before. All the whaling ships brought in some rats. We thought it would be a great idea to bring in some mongoose, because mongoose really like eating some small mammals. The thing that we didn't realize was young goose is exclusive to Pokemon Sun, and Alolan Rattata is exclusive to Pokemon Moon, so they basically don't interact, and everyone is sad. 3 out of 4 native Hawaiians died to the diseases brought by Westerners.
And the rest got really scared.
Yeah. I mean, they either got really scared or they joined the whaling ships.
3 out of 4, really?
3 out of 4, yeah.
So are there good census records on that?
No, it was over a period of like 40 years.
So it's kind of an estimate?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Great Mahele was an extremely important thing that happened with Kamehameha III. There was a restructuring of the Ahupua'a system, as well as a lot of other things that you Niko need to know about. In the beginning, there was a system of land division in Hawaii that got groups of people plots of land from the mountain to the ocean.
The principle is that like you split up the island kind of radially, so that in each slice there's essentially all the resources you would need in theory to run a unit in that area.
I mean, it works because like we're a volcano.
So if you conquer that area, you wouldn't like just take one part of it. You take the whole slice because each one is controlled by a chief essentially, and you would just need. And for the most part, you just need to trade within your slice because you have people who can fish, farm, and harvest from the mountains. So the land ownership, so private land ownership wasn't as big because you essentially didn't have your own land as a common person. You would just be kind of part of the whole slice unit.
But now that Kamehameha II and III wanted to make money, we said, like, screw that. We're just going to sell all of it in plots to our foreigners.
So yeah, before this part, there was a gradual erosion of royal power, mostly towards white businessmen.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But what has to be remembered is that the businessmen weren't just controlling because they had economic power. They actually were most of the important people in the government.
Well, after they took Kalakaua at gunpoint.
In the Hawaiian government?
Yeah, in the Hawaiian government. Most of the Hawaiian government was controlled by wealthy white businessmen.
How did that happen? I thought it was a kingdom.
There's a parliament now.
They even did democratic monarchy. It's great.
There was a thing before this when they forced the king to make it less centralized.
Yeah.
Make it a constitutional monarchy.
Wow.
There are a bunch of constitutional upheavals that I would call them upheavals, basically white people forcing the government at gunpoint to sign new constitution that made white people powerful.
Yeah.
I shouldn't feel bad because white people did this in England too.
They call it the bayonet constitution. But yeah, so at this point, So
It limited the king's power to
Yeah,
stop anyone.
So the king before the last queen lost a lot of his power. He wasn't quite
Was he a commandant?
no.
This is a different
Sort of.
dynasty by this time.
He was kind of related, but at this point the king was elected.
Elected?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Missionaries disapproved of a lot of Hawaiian rituals like dancing because they danced without a lot of clothes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that was something big Kalakaua did, is try to create a renaissance of Hawaiian culture.
And this was when?
This was like
1870.
mid 1800s, 1870s.
Yeah.
By the way, I think the person Kalakaua ran against was Queen Emma, who went up to the volcano and read the Bible with a banana. Kalakaua wanted a new palace. So in order to get the new palace, he negotiated a treaty with America.
Where is this palace?
It's right in downtown Honolulu.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Hawaii 5-0?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. This is Hawaii 5-0 headquarters in the show.
Is this like police TV show? or
No,
something?
it's not. Oh yeah, it's a police procedural in Hawaii.
Makes it better.
So basically, America lowered its tariffs for Hawaiian sugar. So that made a huge boom in Hawaii's sugar economy.
Another fun fact about why that happened: the Civil War. So, yeah, the U.S. couldn't get to Louisiana sugar because Louisiana was kind of not in America at that point. And so they're like, "Hey, where else can we get sugar? Ah, that place." So,
Interesting.
But the reciprocity treaty was definitely pushed by the sugar conglomerates.
Yeah. So then everything was all happy. King Kalakaua had money to buy his palace, and America lowered their taxes for the new sugar industry. Yay! 8 years later, boo. Kalakaua wanted to renegotiate the treaty that lowered their taxes, but America wanted some extra land in exchange. I mean, if we don't give them this land, we kind of crash our economy that has one industry serving all the people and employing basically everyone. So we kind of have to. But a few years later, this guy in the House of Representatives, William McKinley, said, "F you," because the South also grows sugar. So if we took some of your money that you get from selling a sugar and just give it to the South, everyone wins, right? Not really, because now that the South isn't like Confederate and all, they actually have competitive rates of sugar to Hawaiians. So our economy kind of crashed again. They didn't really have much of a choice but to restructure the economy. And they introduced bills for gambling and opioids.
Wait, Hawaii?
Opioid.
Yes.
Hawaii was like, let's legalize gambling?
Yes.
But who's gonna gamble?
Well,
Tourists?
lottery.
Oh.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
Oh,
Wait, are they trying to
government
raise like the economy or just state revenues?
I think the state was in debt, so they need to raise funds for the state to get out of debt.
They could just pull on Argentina.
That wasn't a thing back then.
What? Argentina has been doing it for like 200 years.
They're chilling on the beach, man. They don't keep up with that stuff.
8 defaults in 200 years.
So the Hawaii government, which is now, is that still a kingdom? Like,
yeah.
It's a kingdom until
and then they own
a couple
people money,
decades
so they
after
decide
this.
to open a state lottery and allow drugs.
Well, these were proposed bills,
Oh,
Ah.
but before they could pass,
Good.
you know, how do we get rid of our tariffs? Tariffs requires borders, so how about we just not have a border and annex ourselves to America? So, what can we do to get ourselves there? We'll call ourselves the Committee of Public Safety. And we're gonna say that Queen Lili'uokalani made some intolerable measures that truly justify us taking over. So, she proposed to promulgate a new constitution. Really? She wanted to change the constitution that her brother signed at gunpoint? I never would have guessed. She's charged by her opposers with signing the lottery bill that the white businessman in her Congress wrote and she could not veto. Nice. And she proposed to issue licenses for the sale of opium. And honestly, the Queen defended that until her dying breath. Because in her book, I read the passage. She really did not like the Chinese being able to sell opium. So now that Hawaii was part of America, this led room for big industries to form. And now we had the big five in sugar. Alexander and Baldwin, American Factors, Castle and Cook, C. Brewer, and Theo H. Davies. When you have a big portion of a country's population on plantations, the companies that own the plantations kinda own the people. So they got a huge burst of political power after gaining the approval of the new Hawaiian president, who was like Big Sugar.
We switched to a president?
Even before it was annexed, once they usurped the Queen, it
Yeah.
became Republic of Hawaii. So there was a president now. And then,
People voted for a...
well, no,
Well,
he was the
white people, right?
They might have voted. I mean, it
board of
wasn't.
directors.
I mean, he was. I guess he was like the leader of the Committee of Public Safety and such, and, who was drawn from Parliament.
Yeah.
So he was, and then I guess he just sort of like slid in.
So
Is Big Bird from Chinese?
So here's Big Bird doing his hourly
Oh,
drive-by, laughing at the slaves on his plantation.
Okay.
So, in order to get your work done at your plantation, you need to bring a lot of laborers. And like, Africa is pretty far, so we go to Asia instead. We ship all the Chinese, Japanese, Filipinos, Vietnamese, whatever we could find, bring them to Hawaii so that they can work the plantations. There were race-based unions, which...
That's racist.
So they had the unions compete against each other so that the sugar plantation owners really didn't have to do much because the unions were undercutting each other.
Why didn't they merge?
Japan and China, they hate each other.
Yeah.
No, I know why they didn't
China and
merge.
the Philippines or China and anyone?
Everybody hates everybody.
Hey, Japan tried to merge them back in the late 30s.
I mean, what?
They did merge the Philippines. I don't think they like that.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Guess it didn't stick.
God.
No, why didn't they merge their unions? Seriously. Like, why don't you just form a workers' union? Like,
Because
Especially
everybody
if you
hates
did form-
everybody.
Okay, everyone wants the best for their race.
Yeah.
no, but like, I
They
understand, but this is just simple economics, guys. Like,
You think the
merge
people
your
coming to
unions.
Hawaii for plantation work no economics?
I mean, they joined the
I don't know. We have stereotypes of these people all being fairly intelligent. Like, what's the deal here?
I think they hate each other more than they hated the plantation owners.
Wow.
There were, and plus there were a lot of people who like. I would assume the savvier people definitely got out of the plantations before.
Yeah.
Around this time, they were definitely going into business.
Then there was Pineapple. This guy is James D. Dole. Hey, he has the last name of the president of Hawaii. Coincidence? Probably. Remember that land America got from that reciprocity treaty? Pearl Harbor.
Dope.
So, they,
They really wanted it.
around 1941, for no reason, we're a neutral country, right? So we amassed a lot of land, a lot of our forces at Pearl Harbor, no reason. We only have 9 battleships, 3 cruisers, 4 destroyers, and 5 auxiliaries in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in a strategically advantageous spot. We're a neutral party, so we're not gonna use them. So like, when Japan, totally unprovoked, came in and bombed us, we were like, hey, that's not cool. And you know, that one island that no one lives on, how about let's take that too? Let's bomb it for 50 years. And like, no one lives there. I wonder why. So now, our current major industry is tourism. And if you want to learn more about Hawaii's tourism industry, like and subscribe. My name is Kenny, and I am bad at life.